So welcome to another episode of Man in the Shed. This time we are focusing on Ford RS Turbo, or Mercedes, or a couple of the units which have this little gizmo on top of the fuel distributors under that blue hose. So what is this? Well, this is just where you use your 3mm Allen key to adjust things. Now, what's wrong with these? Well, they can have very big air leaks. Inside here it's sprung if you've ever operated one, and there's a seal inside it. So on a main fuel distributor like this one, you have a seal down here and an O-ring under the distributor, because the turbo is sucking in from here to pull the air plate down. Now if it's sucking in air from somewhere else, e.g. from here or under there or the gasket, you get an unmetered air, which means you're going to run lean. Now there's a reason why this is up here, because there's a common problem with these type of adjusters where they leak air, and I'm going to show you how to take them apart and how to change the seal. So let's move over here and we'll see it. So as we said, this is the part we're looking at. I'll just move this over so we can still see. Ignore that one. So again, we've got an O-ring sitting in the fuel distributor, a main gasket, and the reason that is on there is because this is leaking. So what we'll do is get a bit of a tube on there. Let's move it out of the way because it's a bit cumbersome. Plop that down there until we're ready to rebuild that. Now these are on the Ford Escort RS Turbo. They're also on Porsche 924 Turbo, some Mercedes units, yeah, and some other units. Again, it's just a part that's going wrong. So there we go, we've got the part there, just got on a vacuum gauge on a simple tube, all sealed up. You see, absolutely nothing. So what we want to do is put it in a vise on the small section and literally give it a twist and it will pop apart. This is only just pressed in there, but we'll clean this up and refit that when we're done. Or we can use a file, as it is a bit corroded. There you go, as you can see that's cleaned up nicer now. And then give it a roll. And we've got good old bit of Scotch-Brite. Ping. And as you can see now, that is a lot more cleaner. We've just got a conical shape on the bottom because obviously it's spring loaded, and that shape corresponds inside there, so when that goes up you have an O-ring on it and it seals. So O-ring size, what we need is an O-ring on there, 5mm by 2mm, and then we'll literally put that back in there like so. You can probably put, if you want, a bit of Vaseline on the seal, you know, just to stop it getting chafed on anything, and then whop that up in there like that. If you want to go through and clean all these, you can. More doing this as a demonstration purpose. Again, the other one on there, and then clean that up. Let me sit that back on there, and literally, as you can see, that will just clamp back in there. So what we want to do is, so you can see it would have had factory marks and the little lines just above my thumb. All I want to do is get a pair of pliers, hold that down and literally just distort those bits of aluminium again so it holds it all in, and then we've still got, you know, I'll do that. There you go, simple as that. I've just re-distorted that. So the unit is rebuilt, we've changed our seal, we've clamped the end back on, got it on the device, and then all we're going to do is, there you go, absolutely solid. So simple as that. A little bit of that and the O-ring, which was, you know, well past it, as we could see. There we go. So a week later than expected, because this went flat and I didn't hear it till I was on holiday. When this goes flat, all you can hear is not happy. So anyway, so that is the video on how to rebuild the adjuster tower, I'll call it. Again, common problem on mainly RS turbo or turbo units, RS turbos, 94 turbos. You've gone on V8 Mercs, Ferraris, you know, all sorts of ones. Simple as it is, pop it apart, clean it all out, change the seal, put the end back in there, and then just knock the ends over so it's nice and tight again. You know, worst case, if the spring has failed in there, you find another spring that's very similar to it. You know, measure it off the shelf. You know, you could always shim it to make the spring, because it's a spring pressure that closes it all up and seals it. And again, we've got on our big unit here, this is what you normally find, because on a turbo engine it will suck in so much air. You know, if it's sucking in 1% of air through that gap, you know, that's 1% air is not being sucked through the plate orifice, which means the plate is not going to move down as much as it should do, thus not injecting as much fuel as it should do, causing a lean condition. So if you've got that in your car, follow this video and then you can rebuild that little tower, which is something I'll start doing all of my builds anyway, because it's, you know, as one thing I found on that, I've got 3 RS turbo units and a V8 Merc unit from Q8. So again, it's another thing I'll add to the arsenal of rebuild parts. So there we go. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video, which will be cutting apart a differential hydraulic actuator, yeah, DHA, which is the part on the back on the side of the KE-jetronic, which adjusts the fuel in relevant to certain inputs. So we're going to cut one apart because that one's knackered. Well, technically the thread's knackered on it, and the thread is so fine you're not going to recut it, you know, it's dead. So we'll sacrifice that for the greater good, cut that apart. We'll do a walkthrough, talk through, and see the inside of one of those. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.